Courage Barbell with your host, Chad Ikes. Me. Today, why I have a little bar here in front of me like this. A very nice bar, actually. This is a Kabuki Power Bar. I want to go over a quick bench tip before my guys get here and we train tonight. I see a lot of people that death grip the bar, meaning that they get like totally they feel like they have to be totally perpendicular in their hand. They have to be exactly in there and be square around there, and then they grip the shit out of it. And you don't have to do this on the bench. The squeezing of the bar is important. I'll cover that later, but how the placement of the bar in your hand does not have to be completely perpendicular, and I'm going to explain why that is actually no good. Okay, so unless you're a bodybuilder, you shouldn't be benching with your elbows way out. If you're a bodybuilder, I get it. If you're really trying to work on your pecs, you're going to have the bar high. You're going to have your elbows out and really use that pec or those pecs to do that movement, because that's what you're trying to build. In strength sports, we're almost never in that position. Where we want to be, if you're a shirted bencher, you're going to be tucked almost as tight as you can depending on your shirt. If you're a raw bencher, you're going to be somewhere out here, which there may be a perfect degree. I don't know. I think it depends on all lifters. What I'm trying to shoot for is start with a 45 and see if, depending on their build, they're a little better here or they're a little better here, depending on where their grip is, depending on how they're built. But they're going to be somewhere in here. We are, as strength athletes, should never be out here. Okay? Now, so let me use this as an example for our grip here. If I was to set you up with a set of heavy dumbbells and told you to do bench in your regular position with dumbbells, are you going to force and try to keep them really straight like this? Or are you just going to hold them like this, where it's nice and comfortable and easy to keep it in? Odds are you're going to go like this. You're going to be turned in a little bit. So why couldn't we do that on a regular bench? So what I'm saying here, I'm kind of dipping up and down here looking for the right angles, because I want you guys to be able to see this. Here's how I grip. But before I go over that, let's go over one quick thing too. Your wrist position is very important in the bench press. If you try to grip the bar like this, you're going to have a lot of troubles with it not wanting to dump and strain your wrist. If you go too far back, then what happens is it changes where you hit here. And if you have a huge bend in this wrist, you're going to tend to want to go back like this too much instead of coming like that. And also, if that wrist is already bent really far, when you do drive against it, you're going to have this little bit of play. Even with the good wrap, you're going to have this little bit of play, and it's going to tend to go like this again. You're going to push up, and that bar is going to dip down and go back, where we're splitting power and we're changing the direction of the bar, where the bar's going. We want a solid locked-in wrist about here, where that power translates straight over that bone. So let's go back to the bar placement. If I come up here and grab this bar, okay, I'm gonna go right here so you can see better. If I grab this bar and I do a little twist against my hand, see where my elbow comes in? Watch how my shoulder, just twisting against the bar, my elbow drops in and my shoulder drops down. Which, remember, we want shoulder blade retraction and shoulder depression on the bench. So just by doing this right here, my elbow goes right where it needs to be. My lat engages and pulls my trap down. My triceps flex, my biceps flex. Everything gets really nice and tight. If you watch all my stuff, that sounds pretty similar to rooting your feet, doesn't it? Yes, if we root our feet in the squat and the deadlift, why don't we want to root our hands in the bench? Okay, so back. And see what happens. Watch my hand. When I twist against it, see where I watch my hand. You see, I'm no longer straight in here like this, but now I'm like this. Okay, so it's fitting this way in my hand like it should. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap these first two fingers, the pinky and whatever this little fellow's called, is going to wrap around the bar. Now these two fingers I'm actually just going to put on the bar, because if I wrap these two around, I tend to want to go back into that squeeze, that full death grip mode. But I do want to squeeze them. I want to use that squeezing here to activate all these other muscles, like when we're rooting our toes. So these two are going to wrap around. These two I'm going to put on the bar, and they're basically just going to press. But I skipped the wrist movement. So put your hand in here. Get your wrist where you want it before you do the twist. Okay, so pay attention to where your wrist is and then twist against it. What that's going to do is that's actually going to lock in my wrist. If I come here and I get it in and I twist against it, I can't even hardly move my wrist right now unless I relax everything. Okay, so I'm going to go over this whole thing again right here. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the bar, and I'll usually put my hand here, put my thumb around. I'm going to check where my wrist placement is, get it right where I want it, then I'm going to twist against that bar. Squeeze these two fingers, press these two fingers, and now I'm in a really solid locked position, and my elbows are already in down here, so I can come in and go back. And then what I do as I'm benching, I'm thinking about twisting more. I hear a lot of people say, pull the bar apart. Well, if I pull the bar apart, I'm going to tend to want to do this. Like, I'm not going to think about pulling it like this. So what I think, and this is similar to, I consider this similar to when you're rooting your feet, you're not twisting your feet, you're pulling that arch up. You're grabbing your toes and you're pulling into that arch. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually trying to do this. So as I'm coming down, I ideally want to go, wah, 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 wah. So I'm thinking about it. I can't actually do that because I'm twisted against this bar. But what I am doing is I'm coming up here and I'm going, and I'm trying to twist this bar up. I'm trying to bow it up above my head. And what that does is that's going to help me build that eccentric phase going down and loading up the bar at the bottom with more pressure, more pressure, more pressure, more pressure, tighter, 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 and then slam it all the way up to the top. So if you guys, sorry I'm breathing heavy, I'm kind of in a hurry. If you guys are having trouble with your grip, if you're having trouble keeping your elbows in, try this grip, see how it feels. Now, just like with everything, it may not be awesome the first time you try it, but if you give it a chance, I guarantee you're going to like it. I guarantee you're going to see strength gains. All right, guys, please subscribe to the New Courage Barbell channel. Like this video, comment on this video, tell your friends about this video. Follow me on Instagram at Chad Ikes, and I'll see you guys later with more great information. I'm off to go train here in a second, so I'm out.